Hey, you guys, happy week 15. Still over here amidst the COVID-19 stay-at-home order. Um, anyway, I've been doing the work. I did take some time off. Let's see, Saturday and Sunday. I didn't. I feel like my weeks have kind of gone that way, whether it be like work stuff that really needed concentrated attention or home stuff. Since the kids and everybody's been at home so much for so long now, and I'm still working as much as ever, I took the weekend totally off from work. So even book work. So like I was able to had a slumber party with the girls, which meant I went to bed on the floor, woke up on the floor, and so instead of getting up early like I normally do and doing the work that I normally do, I just didn't, and I was available to read and snuggle and that sort of thing. But otherwise, I'm still mostly on the same schedule and routine. And I'm going to read something to you today because last week I had talked about I had felt like writing in real time. And so ultimately, like, I did need to write in real time a little bit. I finished up the chapter I was working on, which I had read you some bits throughout that. That was a tough chapter. It was the first bit of the work that I've done so far that I reorganized. Like I actually moved a great big chunk and I put it above something else, and I felt like it flowed better. But until I'm through this pass and I read through the whole darn thing, like I'm just not going to have a good feel for that. But that's the first time in the work that I've done that. And so I got to the end of the chapter and then started a new one. Almost the new chapter kind of picked up where the last one left off, which hasn't really been the way that the rest of this book is structured. So you guys, there's going to be so much freaking work still when I get through this pass, like figuring out how to move stuff around and cut stuff out and make it flow. Like I don't know about that. But again, like I try not to go there and just like do this work and write the story and then understand that that's a whole nother part of the process, and it'll get done. So I was going to read to you what I wrote. So something kind of in real time. And again, like since I wrote it the first time, like it'll kind of leave you hanging because I'm not finished, even with like, we're going to stop mid-paragraph. But like, so this, I'll have to go back and rework this even, but it's just a new, like I've read you all stuff from the past so far. And so this will be something new. And then if we have some time, this won't be real long. I'll tell you a little bit about like how quarantine is going and the roller coaster of life and emotions and that stuff. Okay, so per usual, you're going to see me staring at my manuscript, which makes me just a little bit closer to the floor or to the screen. Let's see, this is like page 165 now of 425. Okay, I'm going to just jump right in. So this is the very beginning of a chapter called A Phone Call. And my chapters are not necessarily titled. They're sort of like titled in a way, like just very bluntly, like what they are in my mind. So that's some stuff that might have to change and be reworked. So beginning of a chapter called A Phone Call. When we're living our lives, we make choices to do or to not do many little things every day. Some decisions are made on autopilot, like whether or not to go to the grocery store today or tomorrow. Something seemingly simple like that could be included in a series of life-changing events. If you went today, you might get in an accident that would dramatically change the course you thought your life was on. But if you wait until tomorrow to go to the grocery store, you'd arrive safely. You'd also just so happen to be home today to take a phone call that opens the door to opportunity. Who knows? The point is that we're constantly making choices that don't make our stomachs flip somersaults. And then sometimes we're faced with doing or not doing something that makes us feel like the Olympic Games are being held in our guts. Those choices, we suspect, might change our lives in some way, and we know it going in. Even knowing it, though, how can we know? We aren't able to see the distinct details of the future in that moment. how would we even know where in the future to check? A year? 5? 10? Do we take a look into our magic ball 20 years down the road? The massive or not massive way that life will have changed 10 years from one little choice is impossible to measure or predict. Will all of those kinds of choices being presented to us at any given point over the course of our life, with all of those kinds of choices being presented to us at any given point over the course of our life, it's unlikely that we'll be able to hold on to one to track its progress. Nope, the moment gets absorbed into the journey, and the choices and decisions fly by like miles on an interstate. But this morning, the undeniable way a phone call changed my life was proven. Granted, the phone call was one thing, and a series of things over years, both before and after it. But in my mind, I can transport myself back to that very day and allow it to replay through the words being typed out in front of me now, alive and real on my computer screen. I lift my eyes from the screen, bringing me back to the present like a time machine, as if the decade between the two images were trimmed right out of a video clip. I could see and feel the choice to call being played out in what felt like real time only a moment ago, yet with a flick in my eyes, I'm able to see the beautiful adolescent child who wouldn't be here without that phone call. It's like the before and after option that we never ever get to see in real time, except we can't see what now would have looked like without having made the phone call. We just know that it wouldn't look like this. True had insisted on sleeping on the floor last night. We're in the throes of COVID-19, a worldwide pandemic, which has got most of us in America on a stay-at-home order right now. The kids haven't left our house or interacted with humans outside of our immediate family in over a month. True needed a bit of a change, so he drug his sleeping bag and bedding out to the living room floor last night. I'd warned him that I'd be up early to write and that he'd hear me build a fire. His room is literally 20 feet from where I'm sitting and with French doors that let in the light from this space anyway. But today, his sleeping face is 6 feet away and is visible to me from my computer screen. String lights illuminate the otherwise dark space with a soft, warm glow from the wall above the couch where I sit to write. Only half of True's face is exposed. The rest of it is nestled in his soft, fleecy blankets and pillows. The skin on his face is lit up with the light as if on the other end of a 12-year tunnel. It's as if this moment were real already, the tiniest hint of guidance through the dark. That was nothing more than a feeling all of those years ago, but is completely visible now. I look from my computer screen to him and back again. This is it, I think to myself, the closest we can get to understanding the impact of real-time moments of the past. We have to allow ourselves to go back, to visit ourselves then, but from where we are. Then we get to know, with tangible certainty, the impact of our choice that day. I was getting close to work. If I was going to call, I had to do it now, or I'd have to wait until tomorrow, and there was just no way. As scary as it was to call, and regardless of how it went, it would be worth it to put an end to the nerves I felt. I pulled over. I was almost to the footbridge that crossed the Animas River, leading up to the Rivergate complex where I worked. I took a deep breath with my face up to the sun and blue sky in an attempt to keep from throwing up or passing out. The only way to kill the nerves I felt was to call. Not calling would suppress the intensity of them for a while, but they'd still be there. So that's where I'm hanging you guys in the middle of a paragraph. And then that paragraph is way less developed than the couple that I wrote before. So anyway, it's real time that moves into past, like what I was talking about. And the chapter before, it all, I feel, so the end product will just roll back around. Like it will just be then, this is what I just like this picture of just the story that I'm telling like this, I know, I'm a nut. I am a freaking nut. Okay, so anyway, at least this video isn't as obnoxiously long as it is sometimes. Will you let me know what you think? Leave a comment if you got through it and what you think. Do you want to hear more? are you just like, oh my gosh, this is the cheesiest thing ever? I know I throw that out there. Nobody says anything bad. As soon as I really write the book and it's a New York Times bestselling book, then I will have reviews that, tell me how crappy it is. But anyway, so in these times when I'm nobody and, just a crazy lady, like nobody's saying anything mean. So that's fabulous. This is Cheerbug.
Yeah. Just made my second post for the day.
Cool.
The school stairs. I hopped all the way down them.
You can follow True on Instagram at True Max Potential, and then you can see what he's talking about right now. Okay. I wanted to tell you. So just with the COVID-19 thing and staying at home, and I've talked about like it's so important for me to stay on schedule and keep doing my work. I mean, one, I'm blessed to still be able to work from home, and two, sanity-wise, like it just feels best for me to be on schedule and do my work. And I was thinking, like, this book, if it's just this pile of crap that isn't something that anybody's going to want to publish, let alone buy, if nothing else, it's therapy for me. This process to get through these thoughts and feelings and relive some of this stuff. Like, I didn't realize how much work I had to do. I thought I'd done a bunch of work, and I have, but man, there's more. And one of the things that I feel like is coming up a bunch for our family, like something that's been coming up, and it's not even our family, this is me and my brain, but like, I feel like as humans and in the dynamic of relationships, especially with loved ones, like we go around feeling like we want to be seen and heard, valued, validated, all of these like regular human needs, right? Well, I guess the first thing I want to say, and this is what I've had to learn in my life for me that helps me the most, is like, we have to learn how to do that for ourselves. So go around living our life in a way that we feel aligned with and like best for us, and in a way that shows our love and support and kindness, like whatever. And then give our own self a spiritual hug. Be like that was good. Like I did that because that was valuable for me. And because I feel like every single person, so long as they're not committing suicide or committing murder, and that sounds ridiculous, but I feel like for everybody that's not committing suicide or murder right now, I applaud you. Like, this is a time to just get through things. But so everybody that's on a different level in a space to where they're not only just surviving, they're trying to really be their best on top of it. Maybe their best is just surviving, and that's okay for now. But then there's always a better that you're reaching for, and that's the best. This is where I start getting ranty, and if you turn it off, I understand. But what my point is that like, if there's me doing my best, this is what's a struggle for me in life within my family. I can be giving my all at something, and then it is still not enough for somebody else. And it is not only not enough for somebody else in this family, then it's criticized. It's also criticized, which is like a dagger to the heart, right? And that's me, one human. Well, there are 4 other humans in my family. And so something I've really tried to do is to step back from myself and my feelings and those things. Like, I can go around doing my best, but the first thing I need to do before trying to get that external hug or appreciation is give it to myself. Give it to myself, because I know like the way that I live my life is I'm trying to align with my values, my beliefs, what's important for me, and how I love people. But the thing is that the other people in my life are doing that too. And so it's like everybody, that's a big, but everybody in our little spot is going around wanting to feel valued, loved, appreciated, seen, and they're all doing that while everybody else is doing that too. And so maybe everybody's doing the best they can, but then everybody's also not feeling validated or heard or seen or appreciated. Instead, they're getting picked on because it's not the same as the other person's. And like, so I was talking to True this morning about that. Like, that goes on in our family. And I mean, again, on a much larger scale, like when you look at the world, I was like, that's why there's not world peace. Like, whatever. That's a whole nother thing. There's a bunch of people out there, you know, not trying to align with love and their values and but whatever. Do I just stop? Do I just stop now? Well, my point is, I guess, is to give yourself a hug. Do your best, whatever that looks like, and then give yourself a hug from it. And then, if you can, come outside of yourself and just see somebody else. And I feel like the more that we can do that without the yearning for the hug or the love or the whatever from someone else in exchange for what we're doing, like we do it because we're aligning with ourselves, and then we're giving ourselves the validation, and then we're stepping back and saying, like, True doesn't want to vacuum the floor, so he takes his shoes off every time he comes in the house because he wants the floor to stay clean. Like, I can look at that and be like, that's awesome and good for you. And Elle walks around outside in her socks and drags in all the little dry pieces of grass. And she feels pushed around if someone tells her to take off her shoes or socks before she comes in. And maybe she's willing to vacuum the floor in exchange for the freedom to run around with socks on, inside and out. Like,
it sounds so funny the way that you say it.
So just making some space for everybody, and who they are and what's important to them and how they want to live their days. And it's tough. It's a really tough time. So even though somebody maybe doesn't feel like it's important to do a certain thing and they're not doing that, well, just looking for what they are doing. Just seeing what they are doing, because everybody's trying. So now it's a long video, and I'm going to try to turn this off if it's not so bright I can't see. Okay, I hope you guys are okay. We've had it's tough, man. Oh gosh, darn. Anyway, whatever. Thanks for watching, if you watched, and drop me a comment if you watched. I had like 6 whole views on my video last week. Whatever. Someday, these videos are going to be here for people to look back on, and they're going to have more than 6 views.